The Conjuring Last Rites. On September 5th.
I come down here, I need your help! Hooray! Hooray! Hooray!
The Conjuring Last Rites. Only in theaters September 5th. Rated R.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. From streaming to shopping, Prime helps you get more out of your passions. So whether you're a fan of true crime or prefer a nail-biting novel from time to time, with services like Prime Video, Amazon Music, and fast free delivery, Prime makes it easy to get more out of whatever you're into or getting into. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to learn more.
SpectreVision Radio.
Telemetry and launch condition.
Well, some other observers are...
Hey, it's late night.
It's late night on the astral plane, where it's never too late. With your host, Brian Singer.
It's more fun to believe.
Hello and welcome to another voyage of Late Night on the Astral Plane with Ryan Singer. That's me. Today we're going to dive into some topics that it has been years since I've dove into. We're going to say dove into. Specifically, I have a fascination with Mount Shasta. There is a legend of the Lemurians living inside Mount Shasta. Where did Lemurians originally come from? We're going to talk about that. Let's just get into that right now, actually. Lemuria was first hypothesized as a land bridge. Okay, so this is 19th century type talk. It was believed that Lemuria was a sunken continent. And there were lemur fossils, right, that were in places where maybe they shouldn't be. For example, let's get into this. Okay. I want to give credit to where credit is due. So there was a zoologist, Philip Sclater. So he's the one who was thinking that Lemuria was this continent or this land that had sunk in the Indian Ocean many years ago. Later, this theory was appropriated by occultists, and it has gone on and on. And we got HPV coming in a little bit later, but we're going to get to that. So it was proposed as an explanation for the presence of lemur fossils on Madagascar and the Indian subcontinent, but not in continental Africa or the Middle East. And I don't know. I keep hearing talk of, referring to the Middle East. It's a colonialist term. It is in relation to, Europeans labeled the Middle East. Let's just say, I don't know, maybe we can say Mediterranean and that region. And that's what I will be referencing, I guess, technically. We're constantly learning and we're constantly adapting and changing and trying to make effort to change the language that should be used. Now, nonetheless, okay, so in 1870 was that, the year that Lemuria could be the ancestral home of humans. Now, that's not that long ago. Okay, so if you're thinking in 1870, biologist Ernest Haeckel's suggestion in 1870, excuse me. So there was another biologist who came in, Ernie Boy. Ernie Boy came in. Ernest Haeckel suggested, it was in the late 19th century. The year was 1870. Ernie Boy suggested that Lemuria could be, in fact, the ancestral home, the origin story of human beings. Now, that caused this previous, old Phil boy, Philip Sclater's hypothesis that it was a sunken, continent. And that's why lemurs show up on Madagascar and the subcontinent. That changes that whole discussion. It changes that whole narrative, doesn't it? So, and that's when people would say that Lemuria started to move into new kind of woo-woo territory beyond the scope of geology and zoogeography. Now Lemuria is becoming mythical or mythological in certain aspects. Now, us over here, we love that kind of talk, but we also enjoy cold hard facts, right? So, but this move into this mythological or this mythical or this weird space that Lemuria took, it crystallized and excited its excitement, its legend, its lore, right? Or it became more popular because of that. So now you've got this, is it the beginnings of humans? Did humans come from there, right? And, we could get into, and it was just in the way it's listed is it's Ernie suggested such a thing. It wasn't that, he's necessarily putting forth evidence and or proof in a scientific and a materialistic way, right? Now, when it comes to materialistic science and materialism in general, I'm an idealist. So I believe that the foundation of the universe is, in fact, consciousness. Okay, sorry, I had a Zoom notification came in. Just wanted to make sure that we weren't missing something here. Okay, so we're back. So I'm an idealist. I believe that consciousness is the foundation of all things, right? And everything else kind of emanates from that, is built upon consciousness, as opposed to materialism, which is kind of the opposite. You flip it upside down. Then at the very top, you've got consciousness, which scientists still don't understand. So, having said that, there are still things that materialism and that scientific method and or scientific practice and techniques can show us and can present to us as, kind of hard fact, as reality, right? And that is important as well, to have a consensus reality of some kind in this world we're living in. Now, is that consensus reality that there is really no idea what to know, what is real and what isn't real? That is a consensus reality if everybody's on board with that. It's a little onomatopoeic, even though I know people don't like when I use this word, willy-nilly, but it's a little onomatopoeic to have a consensus reality. That reality cannot be a consensus reality. So what happens here with Lemuria? Because I am so obsessed with the idea of the heart chakra of the world, Mount Shasta. Now, there are other places claiming the title of heart chakra of the world. Maybe we're going to get into that here a little bit. Like, we're going to have maybe we should have a tournament. We should have a tournament of heart chakra champions, right? What location is in fact the heart chakra of the world? We can do brackets. We can break it down. We can do votes. And we can have people chime in with opinions about what truly is the heart chakra of the world. I've only been to Mount Shasta, specifically, I believe, out of all the places that have been called the heart chakra of the world. Anyway, so where does HPB come in this? Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. If you are anything like me, you can get down with some Theosophical Society. I have been a member of the Theosophical Society. I believe I've let my membership lapse because I was just down the street from a library not too long ago in where was that? Oh, in Ohio. And I was like, oh shoot, I don't think I can get us in there because my membership has lapsed. Nonetheless, I am on board with the Theosophical Society and Theosophy in general, the study of esotericism and occult knowledge and all these things. That's my vibe. So one of the founders, HPB, Helena Blavatsky, in the late 1800s, she placed Lemuria in the system of her mystical religious doctrine. So now HPB starts mentioning Lemuria, and she gets on board with Ernie Haeckel and says this is the continent that was the homeland of the human ancestors. And that picks up steam. And that's part of the whole thing about ensuring its popularity, right? Outside of, mainstream science and the community therein. So once HPB gets on board with Lemuria, things really start to solidify for Lemuria in becoming this mythological place and actually believed to be a real place outside the bounds and the boundaries of what is just only myth and not real. Lemuria now has become this place it's our homeland. It's our origin story place, right? It's intriguing, no doubt. That all kinds of different theories pop up, right? And, but then, science comes in, materialism comes in, and is like, hey, hold the phone, hold the presses, because continental drift is a thing, tectonic plates, et cetera, et cetera. This is not going to be a thing that science is going to give any real attention to moving forward. So Lemuria becomes even more mythological, right? Now, was it a continent? Was it a land bridge? There's all kinds of theories, and there's, the point is, how did they get inside Mount Shasta, right? So you might be asking, like, okay, well, there's a big difference between the Indian Ocean and Mount Shasta. Okay. There's no doubt about that, right? So the Lemurians lose their land. Okay. Now, because their continent sinks, right? This place sinks, it goes away, and they're the ultimate ancestors, right? And when you get into this idea of, I think it all stems from it all stems from this guy's book. Let me see it here. I got it bookmarked. A Dweller on Two Planets, written by Frederick Spencer Oliver. Now, this book was published in the very end of the 19th century, 1894. It's an occult book. It lays out how the survivors, the Lemurians, were living in a complex of tunnels beneath the mountain of Mount Shasta in Northern California. Although a lot of Californians might say it's still kind of central. It's northern central California. Anyway, we don't have to get at it. It's still Northern California. In the city of Telos. So you've heard the city Telos, right? Now, is Telos? No, this is why I'm obsessed with Mount Shasta. I like to go there when I can. If I'm anywhere close to Mount Shasta, I like to drive by and try to stay. I like to try to get on the mountain, if at all possible. Can you find the door to Telos? Telos, city of light, where it's boasted fur-lined carpeted floors and jeweled walls, all signs of opulence, right? Spencer also claims that the Lemurians could be seen walking the surface in white robes. Now, years later, a guy named Harvey Spencer Lewis, who went by the pseudonym Wisher Spenley Survey, wrote Lemuria, the lost continent of the Pacific, which popularized the idea that Shasta was a repository for Lemurians. Why were the Lemurians drawn from the Indian Ocean all the way to Mount Shasta? It seems likely, obviously, because it is the heart chakra of the world, right? So if we get into, I don't know, maybe a little of the details of A Dweller on Two Planets, that book written by Frederick Spencer Oliver, we can the plots. Let's just give you the plot summary here. Nigel is busting my chops right now. Give me a second here. We've got Nigel trying to chime in. Nigel is remotely trying to chime in right now. Let me switch over and or Nigel, can you? Here's what, Nigel, I'm not set up for this. Nigel is the producer of Late Night on the Astral Plane. He came over from me and Paranormal U. He's also the producer of Late Night on the Astral Plane. Now that we're on SpectreVision Network, by the way, shout out to SpectreVision Network. So many cool shows, not to mention the comic book, the press, the High Strangeness print that is, detailing true stories of the paranormal. Some of the greatest graphic artists now and storytellers. Can we, Jim Perry, is it part of the, can we give me a second, Nigel. Let me click a couple buttons, or you gotta click a couple buttons, and I'm gonna bring Nigel in, and we're gonna get to the bottom of whatever the hell he's trying to get to. I was getting ready to talk about the the book, because a Dweller on Two Planets, written by Oliver, that details a little more about the legend of the Lemurians. And I'm getting that. Okay. I'm getting that Nigel has some opinions about this. So we're going to be right back here.
I'm 32, juggling family, working full-time, and earning a bachelor's degree. At University of Phoenix, I earn career-relevant skills with every 5-week course. Skills I can use now, not just after graduation.
Earn skills in weeks, not years. Visit phoenix.edu.
Isn't home where we all want to be? Reba here for Realtor.com, the pro's #1 most trusted app. Finding a home is like dating. You're searching for the one. With over 500,000 new listings every month, you could find the one today. Download the Realtor.com app because you're nearly home. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Pro's #1 most trusted app based on August 2024 proprietary survey. Over 500,000 new listings every month based on average new for sale and rental listings. February 2024 through January 2025.
Okay, I think I figured this out. I think we're going to get Nigel in here. Let's see if I can get him coming through. Nigel, are you there? We'd love to hear from you. Nigel, are you hearing me here? Let's bring you in on video if we can, Nigel. Check, Nigel. I'm looking for Nigel. There it's popping up.
Greetings. Yes. Thank you, Ryan.
There you are.
I got to say, before we get into this Dweller of Two Planets or whatever this hogwash is that you insist on bringing into the program, I have to say that, we are multiple episodes in here. Voyages, pardon me.
Yeah.
Voyages.
Yes,
multiple
thank
voyages
you.
In to Late Night on the Astral Plane. And yet this is the first time you've allowed me to be on the program. And I find that a little bit disturbing.
I knew you were going to bring this up.
I was talking to a good friend of mine, Idris Elba, the other day.
Oh, you're good. You're friends with Idris Elba.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
You're good friends with Idris Elba.
Indeed, I was.
You guys are pals.
We're all pals, old mates.
You're old mates, are you? Okay.
Idris
you and
I
Idris
were talking about the new direction of the program. He's a fan of me. I don't know.
Oh, he is.
Show. I cannot say that he's ever listened to the program, other than maybe snippets when I've been involved.
Oh, so he only listens when you're involved.
That's right.
Okay.
He will listen if I was involved more.
Oh, he would. Okay, well, that's good. Maybe I need to involve you more if we can get Idris on it.
Indeed, that is actually the case.
Yeah, yes, I would agree with that.
Anywho, as we say here on the show, any hoodles.
Well, I appreciate
that's
that.
what you want to say, isn't it?
I love any hoodles.
He said that if I was the co-host of the show, he might actually tune into the program on a regular basis.
Maybe that's a conversation we should have.
Yes. Anyway, I have a problem.
You got a problem.
I'm getting to the point then. I am getting to the point of why I was even.
I was wondering if you had a point here. A
Dweller on Two Planets, or the Dividing of the Ways. Actually, there's also another name of the Frederick Spencer
of his book,
who had, by the way, had quite a short life. And I guess if we look at people who were living, amongst the living anyway, in the 19th century, they didn't have long lives, I suppose.
What was the average? I wonder what the average.
He lived about 33 years, 1866, 1899.
I love that number, 33.
33, that's a number, right? That's going to make you go, that's going to make your top.
Oh, it already is, Nigel. 3 plus 3 is 6.
Yep, do the math.
Oh, I love that.
Yep.
3 plus 3 is 6. We love 6.
The rule of 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get it. We got it. Let's move on.
Divisible by 2. It's also divisible by 3.
Here's the problem.
Okay, moving on.
Oliver presented his book as a true account of the actual past. of the true author called Philos the Theban, now otherwise identified as your Goro. Now, who is Philos the Theban?
That's a good question.
We're gonna prove here. We've got multiple levels of things that now are that are unprovable.
Okay,
that have perpetuated this legend of Lemuria that you get so caught up in.
I do love it. I love it.
Yes, indeed. It's
so
it's
fun.
a fun story, sure. Surely it's a fun time.
It is a grand tale.
Going around and around with it all. You think you're going to find the door there?
Yeah, I do think I'm going to find the door.
Inside, and it's going to be carpets and all.
I don't know what's going to be in there, Nigel.
Okay,
we don't know unless we find out.
Anyway,
Anyway,
what you have here is something that, here's the problem.
Okay, what is it?
Oliver and other people of his ilk, they give automatic writing and they give channeling a bad name.
So you're into this stuff. You're into automatic writing and channeling.
Yes. Yeah, of course I believe in that. You think I could be the producer of this program if I didn't believe in these things?
Well, that's a good point.
Yes. He claims that he channeled through automatic writing and visions and mental dictations, that's a quote there, a spirit, Philos the Theban, who revealed the story to him.
Well, I mean, this is not uncommon.
It took 3 years, apparently, for the story to be revealed to him. Now,
dedication, I
here's what I'm saying.
A lot of information getting downloaded.
Okay, I can't say definitively that he's full of it here, but I will tell you this.
There's always a but with you.
I will tell you this. And no, yes.
There's always a but with you, isn't there? I think people need to know what you look like.
People don't.
Why are you
need
blurring
to know
your camera?
What I look like, Ryan. You could have brought that up at the beginning, actually.
Yes, I probably should have brought it up earlier.
Brought that up at the beginning, to be honest with you. Now I'm in the middle of a prescient point here, and now you're interrupting me here. All I'm saying is, he's given love a bad name, right? Because there are people, and you've talked to them on this show, who are capable, I believe, you believe, of automatic writing, of channeling source or some kind of intelligence. We have this guy giving it a bad name, and I don't appreciate that, and I don't like it. Even though the Lemurian tales are up at Mount Shasta, they could be a good time. Good time had for all. If nothing else, get your cardio in as you're walking up the mountain. I'm going to dip out. I've been talking too long. I'll let you get back.
You're leaving so soon?
But that's going to do it for me.
Well, it's good to hear from you, Nigel. Thank you.
I'll tell Idris you said hello.
Oh,
Indeed.
Yes, thank you. Definitely let Idris know that I said hello. Been too long since I've hung out with Idris, and by too long I mean maybe every lifetime. I don't know if any of my lives I've ever spent hanging out with Idris. But Nigel, you bring up a great point. Giving love a bad name here with automatic writing and channeling, which we believe is something that truly does occur, and it happens, and some people are given that gift. We should also do like a tournament of automatic writing or tournament of channelers, like the greatest works that have been channeled through automatic writing. I mean, just off the top of my head, I'm going to be thinking of Thoth by Aleister Crowley. I'm going to be thinking of the Book of Law. Now we've got, pardon me, I've already dropped the name of this book, A Dweller on Two Planets, or The Dividing of the Way. So there's 3 already. We just need about, 13 more to have a bracket of 16. There's modern channels and there's modern examples of people doing automatic writing. And I don't know if we can really figure out like who had the most influential. I mean, there's documentation about hoaxing and there's famous stories about hoaxes. Arthur Conan Doyle actually is, I think, one of the most famous people that was on board with automatic writing. He was on the record saying that he believes that it occurs either by the writer's subconscious or by external spirits operating through the writer. He and his wife led an automatic writing seance with Harry Houdini, in fact. And his wife wrote 15 pages of purported messages from Houdini's mother, although this information was immediately discounted as fraudulent by Houdini. So a little infighting happening there. That is a real that's a real blurry gray space when it comes to Houdini's history with the paranormal and the supernatural. Also with Arthur Conan Doyle, who I believe was one of the original members of the Parapsychological Research Society. PRS? Am I getting that right? No, I'm thinking of Philosophical Research Society as PRS. I'm thinking of the I'm losing my acronyms right now. We're gonna have to come back to it. But one of my favorite writers, W.B. Yeats, who we referenced and we read in the other solo journey, A Green Acre, I believe was the name of the poem, if I'm not mistaken, that I read during that episode. He, shortly after his marriage to Georgie Hyde Lees, he came to be heavily influenced by her delving into what they refer to as the automatic script. So some really great artistic minds were at the very least open to this idea of automatic writing and channeling. Now, as an artist, one could reference inspiration. One could say they channeled the muse from the woodshop walls. If you haven't watched the Elizabeth Gilbert TED Talk on creativity, please do so. If you are in any way interested in the creative fields or the arts or being an artist or a writer or someone who just loves to create and craft, God, it's such a beautiful, beautiful TED Talk that really kind of takes a hammer and smashes the fraudulent fabric of the idea that individuals are geniuses that we so love to get into here in the Western in Western culture. I know that we're way too long for a commercial break here. There's also an album by Bright Eyes called Casadega, and one of the songs is called Automatic Writing. What a great album. I didn't get into Bright Eyes until I was probably in my late 30s, which seems weird, honestly. To be honest with you, that seems weird. No, Nigel, I don't need you chiming in about that. I will listen to any beautiful, wonderful music at any time. It doesn't matter how old I get or how old I am. We're going to be back. We're going to pause here for a quick break. Keep the light on, the one light on here at the show. So, and remember, patreon.com/Ryan Singer. That is $3 a month, and there's no commercials. And wow, we had our first pop in from Nigel. Things are exciting over here. We're going to be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Buffalo Trace Distillery. Powerful yet smooth. Contained but never tame. Proudly going their own way, but never going alone. This is the spirit inside Buffalo Trace Bourbon. Made at Buffalo Trace Distillery, the world's most award-winning distillery. Buffalo Trace is always perfectly untamed. Distilled, aged, and bottled by Buffalo Trace Distillery, Franklin County, Kentucky. 90 proof, 45% alcohol by volume. Learn more at buffalotracedistillery.com. Please drink responsibly.
Some people think nature is like this, but actually, it's like this. That's why Columbia engineers everything we make for anything nature can throw at you. Columbia, engineered for whatever.
Okay, so we are back. A couple quick things just to clean something up. It is the Society for Psychical Research. That is the SPR is the original, and then later became the American Society for Psychical Research, ASPR, which I've been a member of, and I am currently a member of, I believe, and I can't even remember the acronym for the things that I'm a member of. It turns out you could be a member too. You don't have to be like tapped in or invited, or it's nothing crazy like that. You can just pay the yearly dues, and then if you're ever in New York City, you can go access the library, and I think you might even be able to get in there without otherwise. But we're talking about the Legend of Lemuria and the Lemurians and how they ended up in Mount Shasta from Lemuria, the sunken continent and or the sunken land bridge from the Indian Ocean. So that's That's a long travel. So, but and I don't know how they got their opulence in there, but somehow they figured out how to get it in the mountain. And actually, what's really cool about it all is that now it's taken us on this journey where now we're talking about automatic writing. And we're talking about, whether it's Bright Eyes with the song Automatic Writing on the album Catadago, which is all woo-woo wild stuff, which is a great album. Whether we're talking about Arthur Conan Doyle, W.B. Yeats. I met someone at the, I haven't even talked about the storytelling shows with Rontowski, but, and someone was calling him Yeats. And I've always called him W.B. Yeats. He was referring to him as W.B. Yeats. And honestly, I don't know. I don't know what's right and I don't know what's wrong. I've always called him Yeats. So let's just say Yeats. Yeats apparently, with one of his wives, or his wife, was fascinated with automatic scripting, if I remember that correctly. So we were talking about inspiration. And there have been times where I've come up. Now, this is going to sound too grandiose, and it's not as, and trust me, it's not nearly as grandiose as it sounds. Okay. It sounds more grandiose than it actually is. There's been times where I've been writing jokes and I'm like, I don't know how this joke happened. Specifically, probably one of the best examples I have of this, whether it was me channeling, I've been doing a joke on stage where I say, most of the time I'm not even writing jokes. I feel like I'm channeling source, and it's a joke. It's tongue in cheek. Okay. But that is not to say that on occasion, there are not times when I feel like the words are getting thrown into me. What happened here with the camera? Let's get focused back. This camera's out of focus all of a sudden. Let me do that. And so why does that happen? Why do ideas, specific words and sentences get sent to us? Is it automatic writing? Is it channeling? Is it the muse from the wood shop walls blessing us in those moments? I'd like to think it is. My United Snacks of America bit, which is probably my most well-known bit. I mean, I don't know, 11 million plus, maybe more. I don't check Pandora, but I checked a year ago and it was 11 million listens on that joke. It's by far my most popular and well-known joke. Some people might not even, they have no idea who the comedian is, but they know the joke. And sometimes when I say that's my joke, they're like, oh God, that's your joke. Oh, that's you. Okay. So anyway, that just kind of like popped into my face, on the inside of my face one day. And I was actually in this house in the basement, and I was, God, I mean, this is so long ago, right? I was a teacher at the time, and I was in my dad and stepmom's basement for a short while right after graduation, and trying to pay off some debt, working at a school, doing open mics at night. I was sleep deprived and a maniac. And then one day I'm walking around in the basement, and I wasn't even sitting down and writing necessarily. I can't remember how at first, I think it came from writing the idea, the seed of the idea. And then all of it just kind of, boom, it just popped in, and it was wild. And I just remember being kind of beside myself while it was happening. Couldn't believe the words I was saying. And from there, it went on and on and on. And that joke is probably responsible for me getting a lot of work early on once I really fully developed it. It started off as like maybe 40 seconds, turned into a 4-minute bit, which is something I do. But I think anybody can do it. I think anybody has access and probably has had at least cursory experience with automatic writing and or channeling. And when I say channeling, I don't specifically mean the spirit or an energy of, a person that used to be alive. I mean, it could be the creative energy of the universe. And it is really fascinating to think about how throughout history, human beings have created gods to personify all of the different energies that we don't fully understand in this world. And the reason I'm even thinking about that right now is because we had a big day over here. I finished another edit on Shapeshifter, the paranormal comedy memoir, or the comedy paranormal memoir, depending on who you are and which one you want to put first, probably alphabetically, comedy paranormal memoir, and sent it off to my manager. And we'll see, I'm waiting to hear what next steps are. Lots of people to thank that have helped out along the way. My buddy Angela, my buddy Matthew have given me huge notes on editing when they read earlier versions of this. And God, it was probably unreadable, in fact. But I'm very excited about that. But there's a section in this book where we're talking about the personification, or I'm writing about the personification of the energies that we don't understand, and historically how the human creature has then, created these beings to represent them. And I think the Greek gods are probably a very good example of what I'm talking about, if you're kind of struggling to figure it out right now, because there was literally a god for everything. The Catholics have the patron saints of things, right? These were living people, but they represent things, right, that are intangible, energetic, and things like that. So we've all done it. We've all been there. We're all quite familiar with it, in fact. And it's really cool to think about this stuff. And it really, truly makes me feel connected to the past. Oh, what? There's no way that are we having a second pop in? No. Todd, are you here right now? What's happening? Wait a second. What's happening here? Hold on. Let me try to get you. No one can hear you yet, Todd. I don't have Nigel running the board because I'm on the road. Give me a second here, Todd. We know Todd. We love Todd. 1 second here, Todd. Okay, this is exciting. I think we're going to get Todd in. Todd is aware that we're doing video now, so as a component. So he's going to video in. I couldn't tell where he said he was, but I'm sure we'll get into that. But if you don't know Todd, Todd's the guy who he's kind of filled with love and joy and hope and all that good stuff. And we love to have him on the show because we love that perspective over here. Let's see if we can bring him in here. Let's pop in. Let's see if we can't pop in Todd's feed here. So let's pop this in. We'll toggle a couple buttons and we'll see what happens, and we'll see if we can get our guy Todd. So, it sounds like Todd's coming through. Is he there? Todd? There he is.
Hey, man. I just want to say that it's super cool.
Oh, thanks, Todd.
The new show, man. I love the name. I love the format. Man, I think the audio-visual component of everything is going to be super cool, man. People are vibing.
Oh, people are doing that, huh? You know that already? Man. I mean, it's early on still.
Yeah, man. I don't even have to talk to him, man. I'm energetically connected to them, and I understand where they're going to go and how they're going to feel about it. And
okay, I should have known that with you. You got that vibe. Yeah, you got that vibe, Oh, you got it. Your camera's it's facing away, Todd. Your camera's facing away.
I don't know.
No, it's facing the wrong way.
Yeah, I know, man.
No, it's.
I know, man.
Can you switch it,
man. Isn't that funny, man?
Put it on selfie.
Listen,
put it on
man.
Selfie.
Nigel told me, man.
Oh, you talk to Nigel?
Yeah, man. We text message all the time, man. Yeah, he uses WhatsApp.
He uses WhatsApp.
Yeah. Oh, you don't.
Oh, so I didn't know he had WhatsApp. I guess I'm not really texting.
He's like, what's that, man? Yeah. No, he told me there was video, man.
Okay, so he told you.
I was like,
yeah.
okay,
So,
man,
but yeah,
I'll
switch
do
it
my
to
best.
selfie mode. Maybe we
You
can.
know what I mean?
People want to see it, man. I think.
Yeah,
people,
I know, man. I don't put it in selfie mode.
Oh,
man. I don't use that.
You won't.
I won't
Why not?
use
You won't
selfie
use.
mode, man. I'm too busy looking out into
Okay,
the world,
well that
man.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I know the selfie camera just looks it in, man. But I use my heart to do that, man.
That's what I love about you, Todd. I love that about you. It's cool.
Yeah, man. That's just the way it is, man. Hey, man.
What's that?
I just want you to know I love you, man. I love the show, and I love that you let me call in and or video video.
I appreciate that, Todd. I love you too, buddy.
And I just want people to know, man, that I'm still here. And,
people have been asking. People have been wanting to, where have you been? What are you up to? What are you up to out there at the beach? You're a beach guy, huh?
Yeah, I'm a beach guy, man. I've been trying to count all the grains of sand this year, man.
Wow, that is...
It's really hard, man.
I could imagine it is.
Who knew there's so many? I'm running out of pickle jars.
Pickle jars? Is that what you're using?
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate that, man.
Well, you're just such a...
I like that you say I can do this anytime.
Okay.
I gotta say, man, Mount Shasta, I'm there for you.
Whoa, that's great.
I'll go with you there.
I'd love that.
We'll find that door. We'll find the Lemurians, man.
Let's find the Lemurians.
We'll find them, dude. Yeah, we'll go in there and we'll hang out and roll around the opulent carpets and stuff. Yeah,
we'll roll around like cats,
they got pickles in there, man. You gotta stay hydrated.
Well, okay, yeah, pickle juice is great for hydration.
Yeah, man, I've always been a big pickle guy, but I guess you never really asked me that many questions before, have you?
Oh, damn, you're burning me over here.
Oh man, I didn't mean to burn. I wasn't trying to burn.
I'm sizzling over here.
To do, man. Yeah, well, I'll talk to you later, man. Love you, loving the show. Can't wait to see what happens, man.
Well,
yeah,
I love you too, Todd. I love you, buddy.
Love everybody.
Yeah, love everybody, Todd. And, thanks for sharing the love with everybody, Todd. And I got to tell you, it never occurred to me that I hadn't asked him or hadn't asked him a lot of questions. But, Todd would always just kind of call in and kind of love bomb the show a little bit, which we were all about over here. And that's, more love bombs, less nukes, right? So we're all about Todd love bombing the show, calling in whenever he wants, videoing in now, conferencing in, whatever we want to call it, zapping in from across the astral plane to wherever we are late at night. Clearly he's one of these people who just doesn't give that much care about technology and what did they say, forward-facing social media content. He won't use a selfie camera. I love that about our friend Todd. So never got Todd's last name, so we can never really send him a W-2, for all the pay we give him for being a correspondent on the show. But all the grains of sand on the beach, Todd, that is so much work. I mean, that's got to be, to even be able to separate, let's even say you had 30 grains of sand, even be able to separate them into individual grains of sand that would probably take me an entire afternoon. Let's get back to what we were talking about. We've already had a couple unexpected pop-ins, and I got to tell you, I'm thrilled about it. And with this new video component, I thought that we'd be able to get a better look at these guys, or these people, but so far no real luck with that, I guess. But there's this essay that I wanted to get into a little bit, but I'm going back through the history of automatic writing, and you can see even times like Abraham Lincoln had interactions with people. The medium Pierre L.O.A. Keeler had an alleged spirit writing communication from Abraham Lincoln, currently exhibited at the Lilydale Museum. There's obviously a lot of, boohoo, not real kind of activity and choruses singing about these things. But I think if we just dig even to the surface level and understand that, art is one of the greatest examples of the magic of the world. And, I think even Van Morrison, his album Astral Weeks, supposedly was inspired by dreams, reveries, and automatic writing. William S. Burroughs, who I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was a big proponent of maybe chaos magic. Magic for sure. I'm not sure if it was specifically chaos magic or not, but I think it was. Naked Lunch, which is a huge, well-known, famous book. He described it as automatic writing gone horribly wrong. And he believed he found his subconscious taken over by a hostile entity. Now, is this what we people in maybe the Christian or the Catholic community might call a possession? It's weird to be possessed by a demon who just really wants to, I really need to get my book out. You know what I mean? There's oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. No, David Byrne has an interest in automatic writing, I'm seeing here. No, there's examples of automatic writing on the internet. You can go and find them. But I had this character many days ago, a while back, that I used to do on shows. Azrael. Azrael was a demon who was actually, the heir to Hell's throne, and didn't really want to do that. Didn't want to go harvest souls as much as they just wanted to sing, be a singer and a songwriter and an artist. And I did Azrael at shows more than a few times, and a couple times Azrael went over, and a couple times people were like, we don't know what is happening here. But it was, I would sing, I would come out there and let me see if I can just, maybe, maybe Azrael's real, and maybe we'll just get Azrael to be on the show sometime, and we'll talk about life with Azrael. Maybe we just take our last break now and we get it over with, and then we can come back and we can just put a bow on this bad boy. I want to talk to you about paranormal storytelling and Karen Rontowski specifically, the wonderful, the incredible, the talented Rontowski, and what a fabulous, crazy, fun, really interesting weekend Karen and I had in upstate New York doing our paranormal storytelling shows. And we'll get into some other stuff too. And we're going to be right back after this short break. Patreon.com/Ryan Singer. Don't forget, $3 a month, no commercials ever. Brought to you by Alchemy Cola. Taste is always pure gold.
If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I totally forgot Freemasonry Cola was a sponsor of the program. You can get Alchemy, you can get Diet Alchemy. These are the drinks Freemasons drink. The Knights Templar are more Philosopher's Stone. That's kind of the lemon lime version. But we can get into that later. We have a plug, and we actually have some commercials they want to show, like videos. We'll probably be doing that here in the next couple of weeks. But sponsors got to keep the light on over here. So this past weekend, I was up in, I don't know when it will be by the time this comes out, but Karen Rontowski and I did a show. We did 3 shows. We did a run of 3 shows in upstate New York, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, called True Tales of the Paranormal. Karen and I would just go back and forth, sharing our true paranormal experiences that we've had over the years that have gotten us interested, or, from childhood onto being investigators. And on the opening night, I got to tell you, we had puppets. We had paranormal puppets on the show at the Tram Cafe in Utica, New York, which this place is bonkers how cool it is. I bought a book while I was there. There was paranormal puppets that opened the show, and don't you worry your sweet little tush, because those paranormal puppets will be on Late Night on the Astral Plane very soon. We are working out a time. We are going to get Mike Mothmansky on this program, amongst other paranormal puppets that will be on this show. I cannot wait to bring you the silly and the ridiculousness that is the paranormal puppet show that we saw that opened for us on that Friday night show. What a treat. What a ridiculous treat it was. Now, we did that show, and it was crazy. It was great. It was gravy crazy. It was crazy gravy. While on stage at the Utica show. And I'm not trying to be this guy. And I think you know me well enough to know I'm not this guy. That anytime I'm even somewhere neighboring paranormal stuff, I'm like, oh, something paranormal just happened to me. You know, I'm not that guy. I think maybe I'm not that guy. But while we're doing this storytelling, I am touched on my left shoulder by something to the point where I thought a large insect, and it actually quite frightened me because I was going to get ready to be freaked and grossed out by a heavy, large insect that had landed on my left shoulder. And so I'm like, and I look, and people in the audience, they noticed I thought something was on my shirt, on my shoulder. You know, there's people noticed that because I mentioned it. And after Karen finished with her story, I was like, I just have to say that, people, and I was like, some people probably saw me even like, and they're like nodding. Yes, we saw you. We didn't film these shows. So I don't have evidence of this for you as far as me doing that or whatever. Right. I have the audio of that, but so that was wild and an incredible show. The Tram Cafe was just awesome. Incredible coffee at that place. It's bonkers. The next night, we go to the Ake Gallery, AKE, owned by Paul Kozlowski. Paul used to be on Mr. Show. Now currently lives in upstate New York and runs this gallery. Used to run the Fake Gallery in Los Angeles, which is a really cool theater called the Yard Theater, which is now actually a new name as of like a week ago. Anyway, I gotta get to the bottom of that and figure that out. I performed there many times, in an incredible space. He used to have the Fake Gallery. Now he has the Ake Gallery. And I told him, I was like, is it because you got the F out? I don't think that's the reason. He said it was because he just didn't have the energy to keep painting the F. So we do a show there, and it is so fun. What a cool gallery of art. Now, this is all comedic art for the most part. It bends comedy at this art gallery. It is really, really cool in a place called Cortland, New York. If you're ever upstate New York, I highly recommend checking this out. They're doing music, they're doing readings, they're doing comedy, they're doing everything there all the time. An incredible, incredible thing. While I was telling a story at that show, Karen says that she was touched on the head by something. So I'm like, okay, this is getting weirder. Sunday afternoon, we go to a place called the Nook Cafe, which is in New Berlin, New York. And we have an incredible crowd, a really fun show at like 2:00, telling spooky stories in the afternoon, which is a little weird at first, I suppose, but it ended up being really, really great. And I was like, I think both of us are probably going to get touched by something during this one, but neither one of us. Now, people would ask a lot of questions after the shows, and we got some of the expected questions about, because I would tell the shapeshifter story. I would tell the story about the creature and in Florida, and I'd also tell the story about Mount Shasta. And I think I've told that Mount Shasta story on this program before. And if not, you might not remember it. And I think I might just tell it here. And Karen would tell the story about being a kid and saving her sister, who was having a seizure in the ocean. She would tell a couple other stories that, quite frankly, are terrifying. And we did notice that there is stuff getting stirred up when we're doing these shows together. So maybe we could only do a run of 3 or 4 or 5, maybe in a row before we'd have to take a break and do them. We're going to do them in Los Angeles. She'll be back in Los Angeles before the end of the year. I'll be back in Los Angeles, before the end of summer or, early fall. I've got some other trips coming up, and we're going back to Florida. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. We're out here just trying to make magic happen wherever we go. So nonetheless, one of the stories I told was about Mount Shasta. And if you follow this program for a long time, you know that when I filmed The Supernatural, which was my comedy special, filmed inside or at Poasttown Elementary School in Poasttown, Ohio, which is a super haunted school. We did 2 full days and nights of investigation before we filmed that comedy special. And I was calling that investigation and that series The Bridge. Now, that is a series that I'm not finished with, and I will be releasing more about that. And I'll probably be re-editing the original 3 episodes, which are currently on my YouTube page now at Official Ryan Singer. So you can check those out if you don't want to wait. I'm going to be redoing them. I'm going to be re-editing them, all kinds of things. And there's so much more footage that I haven't even gotten to. That investigation, the premise of The Bridge in that whole series, which is probably going to be my life's work, just constantly putting out episodes of The Bridge intermittently as I go on throughout this life. This will be a never-ending project, which excites me in many ways, is that consciousness is the foundation of all things in the universe and in anything that is knowable. And it also is the connective tissue between all things which occupy space and or interdimensional realities within this universe and in the multiverse or whatever. Consciousness connects all things through interdimensional boundaries, through physical boundaries, through mental boundaries, through energetic boundaries. So if we want to communicate with anything or anyone, techniques that are based in consciousness and consciousness study and the directing of consciousness should be effective regardless of what they were built and or intended for, although intention does have power. CE5, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind protocols developed by Dr. Stephen Greer and his team over the years. We use those inside of Poasttown Elementary School to try to contact ghosts. Because I was like, you know what, I really enjoy these protocols. We're trying to make peaceful, loving contact with UFOs and or aliens. Why not just try it inside one of the most haunted schools in the country? So that's what we did. Things start popping off mostly the next day after we had done that. I kept being drawn to look out the window. The next day, we're in a classroom with Eric Connor's custom-made gateway device, which is an ITC device that scans radio stations, reverses the audio output, and removes the static, also adding a reverb so there's an echo. So everything you're hearing through the speakers on the gateway device is reverse backwards speech from radio stations without the static you get from scanning in like an SB7 or a traditional ghost box. And there's an echo. We start getting all kinds of activity through the gateway. I am compelled to go outside. I hear the word east. So we go outside. I bring Alex Mastretta, who's there. Alex Mastretta is an anthropologist and a cryptozoologist and a former member of STAR Team, which was Robert Bigelow's first action response team to UFOs when he was, for a very short time, given control of the United States government's UFO hotline. Now, we go outside. Alex is fearless. It's nighttime. It's probably not even a year or so, or maybe a couple years. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the timeline here. I still had not camped outside. I still had not felt super comfortable doing investigations outside in the woods after my terrifying experience in Florida that had happened in 2019. So here we are outside in the front yard of Poasttown Elementary School on a super cloudy night, 1 star in the entire sky. I get out my compass on my phone. It is practically dead due east. It's like 89.6 degrees east. After hearing the word east on the gateway device, through a walkie-talkie, I tell Jim Perry and Eric Connor inside, and Karen Rontowski's in there as well, that I'm going to laser pointer and zap the star to see if we can get any responses through the gateway. I zap the star and they say, it said east again. It said east again. Every time I zapped this star, it said something. Now I zap it again. And then I think it was Jim Perry or Eric, I forget who, I think it was Jim, who came through and said, it just said, I'm in the field. Come find me. And I was like, hell no. dude, I am not going into a field right now. And Alex was like, hell yes. There was a big field behind the school. So we walk around the school, we walk through this area, the backyard of the school, and then we go through some woods. And now we're in this big field looking for whatever it is that said, I'm in the field, come find me. And I'm just like, oh, golly. Any hoodles. Alex is walking around taking a bunch of photos with his cell phone. I get a little pissed off at him because he's kind of left me alone, and I am not comfortable in the dark alone at this point. Still at that point. Eventually he comes back. We go inside thinking we found nothing. Within about a year, he had posted those photos on his Facebook. Someone messaged him back, what the hell is in this photo? And he messaged back, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? And the guy said, I'm sending a zoomed in version to you. He sends him a zoomed in version of one of his photos, which had a beam of light, like a pole of light coming down through one of them, which is, you know, you kind of, those are not too uncommon at paranormal locations. But inside of this beam of light is a humanoid figure standing there, dark. Just you can't make out any features. And boy, oh boy, is it creepy. And yes, that is, let's see if I have that photo. I can drop it in right here so you can see what I'm talking about. There's a humanoid figure in this photo right there. Hopefully I found this photo for you and you're looking at it right now, unless I was unable to find it. I get back home. I go to my apartment. My girlfriend at the time is thinking I'm kind of a maniac, kind of a crazy person, because I'm staying up all night reviewing footage from the investigation and other things. And I'm trying to backtrack. I'm trying to find out what star was that in the sky. I'm using, I think, Stellarium, the website, and I'm typing in the date, the time, the location, and you can see the exact night sky as it was on that night. And I think I pinpointed that it's Procyon. So now I'm in a rabbit hole. I'm trying to read everything I can about Procyon star. It has some UFO lore attached to it. And I'm like, at first I thought it was going to be serious. I was like, oh, this is going to be a big boy, right? But it was Procyon, which is still hitting a jackpot as far as I'm concerned. I go back to Poasttown, not that long after. I'm there with Matthew Jackson, the master of ITC himself. Karen Rontowski is moving from Los Angeles to Utica, New York. This is how long ago, so 3 years ago, whenever it was. She pops in just for a quick little cameo, just to help out and do a little investigation at Poasttown before she keeps driving to New York. She walks in the room when we're filming just sit-down interview stuff, and the ghost box that was on goes, hello, Karen, immediately as she walks in. And then she says, what's my last name? And it says Rontowski. It's just bonkers, right? So we investigate for a little bit. She goes on her way with courage, driving to New York. Now, Matt and I start going around. We set up in the room where all the things popped off originally. We set up a bunch of devices like REM pods. We've got a EMF meters. We've got a string of lights that are also kind of REM pod lights. So anything electric or electromagnetic or electromagnetic frequencies, anything is, if anything's coming around and floating around, it's going to set off our devices. We do CE5. After we do the CE5 meditation, I start asking questions about Procyon because I'm like, baby, I've got this figured out. It's Procyon. These devices could not be more silent. It was like the batteries were dead. So after about 10, 15 minutes of just dead ends, I finally just say, I don't know. Maybe, are you from a different star? Are you from Sirius? And then all the devices start going bonkers and they start lighting up. And next, I'm asking questions that are Sirius related, SIRIUS, serious questions about Sirius, and Matt's chiming in. These devices go crazy for about 4 or 5 minutes, which is a really long time if you've ever been on a paranormal investigation, for these devices to go crazy. Later, we go to a different room. We're in the classroom that's next to the doll room, really creepy area of the school. We have a different device. It's playing, it's an ITC device that is scanning radio stations and playing the audio backwards. There's like 4 or 5 voices, and you can't really make much of it because there's one really deep voice. So finally, I just go, can we have whoever's in charge? Can we have the main voice, please, talk, and everyone else, kind of just recede in the background? And then suddenly it all got quiet, and you only hear this like deep voice making noises like, like backwards, like that kind of, right? So then I go, oh, wow, we got somebody. Okay, so who are you? And the voice says, God. And I'm like, you heard God, I heard God. Oh, here we go. Right? We're like, what? And then we're like, okay, God, what's your name? And it says, Ra. And we start just kind of going crazy. And I'm like, I mean, I'm a comedian and a hairdresser. We're in over ahead here. I don't know if we need to be taking this call right now. I say, where are you from? And the voice says, the cosmos. And then boom. And then all the voices came back. And it was like, boom, boom, boom. That was bonkers. At that point, I knew I don't need to be a post town to have a conversation with Ra, right? This can happen anywhere. So Eric Connor and I grab a buddy of mine, my buddy, he's a brilliant filmmaker, used to do comedy, very funny guy, Alex Mangan, and creative collaborator for years. I convinced him to come with us to Mount Shasta. And I want to, see if we can find the Lemurians. I want to continue the conversation for the bridge for that investigation. And he's going to be filming everything. We get there, we do C5, we're having a good time. We got an Airbnb for maybe 2.5, 3 days, 2 nights, 3 days. And nothing really is happening. We're going outside a little bit to a park that a buddy of mine, my buddy Forrest, who lives up there, he's showing us some local spots that tourists don't usually get access to or know about. We see the Trinity symbol showing up. It's, close to Trinity National Forest. So, it kind of makes sense. I mean, that's where Mount Shasta is. Anyway, things are going crazy in my mind because we're outside at night and I'm getting freaked out. So we go back to the Airbnb after one point. I think Eric and I, we were talking about how we were ready for contact. And then the device that he was carrying when we were outside this park says, really? We're like, no, not really. Sorry, gotta go. I think I left something at the condo. Right. So we go back. Anyway, the next day we're doing a mountain trip. It's May, still 12 feet of snow on the mountain. It doesn't matter. We get up there. We decide to try to push ourselves and go into the mountain. Weird things are happening. Eric is sensing a Trinity symbol in his mind. Then he finds a circle of very tall pine trees with completely undisturbed snow in the middle of them. It was like a beautiful amphitheater of nature, just ready for its big show. There's kind of a large opening between 2 of the trees that we sensed was a doorway. Eric makes the Trinity symbol in the snow outside the doorway as like a symbol and an offering. We go inside. He has a ITC ghost box. It's a tiny little handheld red and black radio that scans radio stations backwards and plays the audio backwards. We're using the ghost box and we're standing in the middle of these perfect snow-covered trees in undisturbed snow, now disturbed by us. And we're not really getting any information. We're not getting any contact. And finally, I'm just like, you know what? I thought we really had a conversation going on multiple different occasions. I've come here because I felt like I was called here. I didn't need to be a post town anymore. I felt like the conversation had moved and could go anywhere. I feel like there's a breakdown in conversation. Like, why is there a breakdown? Why can't we have communication anymore? And then the ghost box, it breaks, meaning that it stops on one radio station and starts playing the audio frontwards, how it's supposed to sound if it's not being reversed. And it's the song Space Odyssey by David Bowie. This is Ground Control to Major Tom. And we all know the song. We all love the song. And it is a famous song about a breakdown in communication between Earth and space. Eric and I lose it. We're dancing and laughing and singing in the snow as we run around this perfect circle. And then the song is close to the end or ends, and then the radio kind of fixes itself and starts scanning again. Is that definitive proof for a hardcore skeptic that we're communicating with a higher intelligence of some kind or an entity from somewhere? No, it's not. But is it definitive evidence to the paranormal investigator with an open mind and an open heart, and someone who's willing to seek and even look foolish and lives by the tenet that's more fun to believe? 100%, without a doubt. It's the thing that I can hold on to for the rest of my life. It's a direct communication. We did not find the Lemurians, is how this whole episode started. But we talked to somebody, and I can't wait to go there again and see if the conversation continues. And if you've never been to Mount Shasta, I got to tell you, it's a beautiful place. At some point, I'd love to set up a retreat there where we get like a couple Airbnb houses and get a bunch of people up there, and we just go explore the mountain and see if we can't get communication from space or from the spirits on the mountain itself. The heart chakra of the world, it's been said that it will spit you out if your energy is not right, if you move there, which is interesting. A lot of people who live there say that. The people who live there say that, not the people who don't. Anyway, this has been enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed that story. I got to tell you, that story still resonates very deeply with me, and it feels like it happened just yesterday. I'd like to thank Nigel. I'd like to thank Todd for popping in. I'd like to thank you for watching and or listening to another voyage of Late Night on the Astral Plane. Still getting used to the new name over here. Me and Paranormal You lives on forever in my heart. Maybe yours too. I don't know. We had 800 plus episodes, almost 13 years of good times and fascinating conversations. All those episodes will always be available. They're probably just called Late Night on the Astral Plane now because we did a total name change. They're still there. You can still go listen to them. You can listen to them free. I think there's probably, hopefully, always going to be that way. And I mean, I'm the one in charge of that. So yeah, no commercials over at patreon.com/Ryan Singer. And I hope to see you at a live show sometime. If not, I'll see you at the watering hole on the astral plane. Be good to yourself. Be good to yourself. You're the only one who can guarantee that you can be good to yourself, so you might as well do it. Talk to your water. Follow Karen Rontowski and everything she does. So funny. Such a great tarot reader. Holy smokes. Anyway, any hoodles. That's going to do it for us. And we'll see you next week. And just remember, it's never too late out here. Even though it's actually pretty late right now. But that's how we like it.